stick to a budget, this is the video for you. Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? It's your girl AP. If this is your very first video that you clicked on, I want to welcome you to my channel. I talk everything money management, lifestyle vlogs, and motherhood. If any of those topics appeal to you, I want you to hit the like button and also make sure you hit subscribe. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram so you can see some behind the scenes of my life. All right. So in this video, I want to talk about how to stick to your budget. So you finally have a workable budget. Now what? How do you plan to stick to it every month? Let's discuss this. Now, before you go and get all stressed out because maybe you went over in a certain category, I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. We're gonna have a discussion about sticking to our budget. Now, I'm not gonna sit up here on this video and tell you that I have always had the perfect budget and everything has just worked out beautifully and magically, and I've never gone over in any categories, because that would not be the truth. I want to tell you that even me, I'm still learning budgeting. It's a day-to-day, it's a month-to-month, it's a year-to-year thing, because life happens and things change, especially lately. Things have just gone up. And so you have to rearrange your budget to fit life and what's going on. So at any point, don't ever feel discouraged because your budget is looking a little different than it used to be. We're all trying to figure it out. When trying to stick to your budget, you have to ask yourself, what are your financial goals? What is it that you can remind yourself of daily to help you to stick to your budget and to stick to whatever it is you're trying to achieve financially? For me, it is showing my boys that you can live a debt-free life. So I'm happy that you created a budget, a realistic budget. Remember, realistic, because we don't want to try to keep up with somebody else's budget and saying that they spend a certain amount of money in a certain category, and that's not what we spend. Like, for instance, if you like to eat out, then increase your eating out category in your budget. Don't try to minimize it, and then when you go over, then you're all stressed out and you're depressed. If you like to eat out, then that's you. There's nothing wrong with you, because guess what? It is your budget. All right, so now let's discuss your spending habits. Yes, this is very important because a lot of people's spending habits are just out of control. We're gonna talk about the different spenders. There is the compulsive spender. I raised my hand. I've been that spender before. The emotional spender. Yep, that's me too. Been there, done that. The FOMO spender, the fear of missing out on something. Those are the people who can scroll on different social media outlets and see someone else living their best life and want to live that life that that person is living. You're not missing out, and you are exactly where you need to be. So just work your budget and save toward whatever it is that you want to buy. The unprepared spender. The unprepared spender, that is an example of somebody who waited to the last minute to figure out what they wanted for dinner, and then they just decided, hey, I'm just gonna go out and grab something. That costs a lot of money. So for an unprepared spender, meal planning is not a part of their vocabulary, because they are the spur of the moment, fly by night, I need this, I need that, and I need to spend money to get it real quick. And they don't really think about the consequences, which we will talk about later, of not being prepared. We have to address not only your spending habits, but do you have self-control? A lot of people don't even realize that they put the wants and the needs in the same bucket, and they're two different things. One thing that can help you determine if you are not putting your wants and your needs in two different categories is if there is something that you desire, try the 24-hour rule. Now you may be wondering, AP, what is this 24-hour rule? If it's something, especially a big purchase that you're interested in, wait 24 hours before you pull the trigger on that decision, because by just buying things that you want and they're not needs, in the end, it can cost you a lot of money. So give yourself a little time to decide if that's something that you really need in your life. And trust me, this is by no means a judgment video, because I personally have so many gadgets that I purchased and thinking that I needed those gadgets, and I don't even use them. So I'm talking to me first. Now, if you get enlightened by the video, high five. Now, when you're trying to stick to your budget, it's very important to try to have sinking funds. I talked about this in a previous video, but it's very important to have, because unexpected costs and expenses, they happen, and you want to be prepared. So in your budget, make a section that talks about sinking funds. I have this on in my Etsy store. You can see the link at the bottom there, but it's a category way, that I put when I break down my budget, I have a little section there that talks about the different sinking funds. Because me, I just don't ever want to not be ready. I always want to be prepared for whatever, because life is life, life be lifing, and it's going to happen. So in your budget, outside of your regular and irregular bills, have sinking funds, because they will save you tons of money, and sinking funds help you to just stay out of debt. Now, it's very important to have weekly or monthly check-ins with your budget. I like to track my expenses on a daily basis, and I also like to go online and just look at my account, because sometimes expenses that maybe you forgot that were coming out may come out, and you wrote out this budget, and then you go online and you see that there's a different transaction on there that you didn't remember making, or that you didn't remember subscribing to it, and they took money out. So you have to always check in with your budget to make sure that you're doing good, make sure your numbers are where they need to be. If you need to tweak something, because it's okay to tweak, there's no judgment, it's your budget. But just always make sure that you just go in and check on your budget and make sure everything looks the way it's supposed to be. So always make sure you do daily, weekly, or monthly check-ins with your budget. Lastly, let's talk about the consequences of not budgeting. Oh my gosh, I have been there, and I don't want you to go there. So that is why I'm making this video, and I want to encourage you. So one consequence of not having a budget, or even sticking to your budget, is not having a savings account. Because you don't have a budget and you don't know where your money is going, you're not able to allocate money to your savings. So that's one thing I want to encourage you to do, to put in your budget amount that you want to save, and when you figure out that amount, whatever it is, put that amount on automatic payments into like your checking, into your savings. Trust me, it's so much easier when you don't have to push the button to hit transfer, and that is automatically going into your savings. You'll save tons of money that way. Another consequence of not sticking to your budget is accumulating more debt. We don't want to live that debt life. We want to live a debt-free life. And so if you're on that road to paying off debt, I want to encourage you to try to make your budget. And even in your budget, if you're paying off different credit cards, student loans, car payments, write all of that down, and don't try to make more debt. Like I said, going back to sinking funds, if there's something that you desire, I'm not saying you can't have it, because I am all about living your best life, but just save towards it. Get a sinking fund, write whatever that sinking fund is, either on an envelope or online in a bucket, and save toward whatever that purchase is. Don't go into debt. Don't dig yourself more into debt, because it's really hard to get out of debt once you're so deep in there. And not saying that you can't ever get out of it, it just takes a long time. Another consequence is financial stress. Being in debt, not knowing where your money is, or not having enough money is so stressful, and I don't want that for you. I want you to live free, I want you to be happy, and I want you to live the life. We only get one life. I don't want you stressing about how this bill is going to get paid, or how are we going to be able to take a vacation? We work so hard, we want to go somewhere. I want you to go somewhere too. So I want you to write a budget, figure all your numbers out, figure out your categories, be encouraged, because it's going to take time to perfect it. But once you get it workable and it's relatable and it's reliable, you'll be able to see that you're not going to go into any more debt, because you're paying off debt if you're in debt. And if you're already out of debt, you're saving toward things that you want to save toward. So like, you can be saving more toward retirement, you can be saving toward a vacation, a dream home, whatever it is that you want to save for. It takes away financial stress. Trust me, when I became debt-free in 2019, outside of my mortgage, I was like breathing new air. It was such a relief, because it was like, even if I missed a check, it wasn't the end of the world. I was not living paycheck to paycheck anymore. So I broke that cycle. I was excited, I was happy, and I was able to just breathe. And I want you to be able to breathe too. Another consequence of not sticking to your budget is out of control spending. Like, I live a cash money life. Like, I do have a debit card, because I do believe that you should have cash, your debit, and a credit card, because in this life, you just never know what's going to happen, and you need to be prepared. But you need to know what you're spending your money on. So if you're not writing a budget or even tracking your spending, you don't know where your money is going and you're just spending. Now, like I said, I use cash envelopes. And so when I take the money out, it feels kind of different when you're handing money over to someone as opposed to swiping a card. You don't want to hand over, especially like a big bill, like $100 bill, it feels different. So it makes you think about your wants and your needs because you're handing over cash. And once that cash is gone, then there is no more. So using cash helps you to curb your spending out of controlness. Is that a word? But we're going to use it today. It helps to control your spending. It helps you to be conscious of where your money is going. So I want you to, try to incorporate using cash as opposed to using your debit card all the time. But if it helps you to track your expenses, then by all means use your debit card, but just be wise. When you're swiping, always paying attention to your bank statements and make sure you put alerts. Oh my gosh, now this is very important. Make sure you put alerts on your phone regarding any transaction because you don't know if somebody's trying to like go into your account and use your money, but if you have those alerts set up, any transaction, you'll be alerted about it. So when you see, like, this is me, this is my testimony. I have alerts set up and then I do like no spend days, but on my spend days, I try to batch it all together. And so I get the different text messages from the different places when I use my debit card. And it's like, you see all those text messages and you're like, whoa. So it makes you feel some kind of way, even when you're using your debit card. But in general, we don't want that consequence of out of control spending because it leads to more debt. So let's write a budget, let's be realistic, and let's have fun with it. Lastly, let's talk about having an accountability partner. Now, I know a lot of people don't want people in their business. If you're married, your accountability partner can be your spouse. Or if you're not married, you have a best friend that you can trust and you can talk to about your different finances, then have that. Have somebody that pull you to the side and say, how's your spending coming along? Are you sticking to your budget? I know you can always tune in to me because I'm always here to encourage you and to root you on and saying like, hey, are you sticking to your budget? We're going to do this together. It's not just me, it's us. We're a family and I want us all to succeed. So I'll be your accountability partner through the screen, okay? Well, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you found value in it, I want you to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe if you haven't already done so. Remember to follow me on my Instagram so you can see some behind the scenes of my life. Well, until the next video, you take care, you stay blessed, and you stick to that budget.